Justin, in addition to covering the Wizards, you also do a lot with college sports and also MLB, working for Fox as well. So I want to shift to college football. So obviously, we don't know how the season is going to look right now with this COVID-19 thing. But if there is a season operating in normal circumstances, give me a sleeper team and maybe an under the radar Heisman pick that people should be watching out for that isn't a big name.
You're gonna hate me, but I can't even answer that question right now. I mean, it's so far from my like thought process. As far as a sleeper team or even who's in the running for the Heisman. Oh my gosh, I just want to see sports again. I
We all
mean,
do.
that's the truth. And I thought you were going to ask me about the new proposed, playoff system for college football. I had no idea you were going to go with a Heisman pick.
All right, you can answer
So
that then. I'm fine with that.
as far as the playoff system, I think I'm in the minority. I don't want an expanded playoff system. I think it's a watered down product when you do that. People have said six. Now I hear eight or a 16 team playoff. Um, what you learn, and we've seen it in the NCAA basketball tournament, is no matter how many teams you expand to, someone is always going to be left out. There's always going to be a first four out, and you can't make everybody happy. And what you've seen the last several years is, when was the last time we had two really good semifinal games? We really haven't had two good semifinal games. And the reason why is because there haven't been four really good teams. And are there six really good teams that are worthy of making the playoff? Personally, I don't think so. And I don't want to water it down. I think I'm going to lose, but I disagree wholeheartedly with expanding it to eight teams or to 16 teams.
I just want to wish you a happy Passover, by the way.
Thank you. I'm about to get pizza after this phone call.
As you guys know, we are talking to the voice of the Washington Wizards, Justin Kutcher. Justin, my question for you, and I know you can't wait until this draft because finally we have sports on TV. It's not much to watch, but we have sports on the TV. First of all, who do you root for? Is there a team that you root for in the NFL?
I've been a Giants fan my whole life, but I also worked for the Patriots back when
Boo.
I was in college, and at the beginning of their run with Tom Brady, and the Patriots treated me so incredibly well that I've always had a soft spot in my heart for them. I will say I'm disappointed that Brady is not with them. I think they screwed that up. I think Brady should have finished his career with them. I think they should have gotten him some pieces to work with, and I think if people are all saying Tom Brady is done. I think he's far from done. And when he has pieces around him, he's going to do some pretty phenomenal things. So I'm actually excited now to see what he can do with Tampa Bay. But I'm a Giants fan. That's who I've been my
How
whole
could
life.
you be a
And
Giant fan and a Patriot fan? Come on, Justin.
like I said,
Ah,
it's because when I'll tell you exactly why I'm a Patriots fan. Is my first year working for them. I was in college. I was a senior in college, and I'm working for them. And they actually gave me a $500 advance
really?
payment. And I'm like, what is this? Like, here I am, a college kid. I have no idea what this is. And they said, no, that's just an advance. I'm like, an advance on what? I'm like, all right, this is cool. Well, as I finished the season, I went through the whole football season. Then I worked with them through like part of the MLS season, and I moved away. And I still got a check in the mail from the
Wow.
Pats. So I called my boss and I said, hey, I just want to let you know that you guys sent me a check and I'm no longer working for you guys. So if you want, I'll tear it up. And he said, no, just keep it as a thanks. And I
Really?
was like, wow. Again, now I'm graduating from college. Every little bit helps. And that's what they did. So when you do that and they treat people right, you have a loyalty to them.
All right.
So as a dual fan, I guess, who did you
Jeez.
root for in these two Super Bowls?
Giants.
Oh, of course, the Giants. I hope the Giants.
Honestly, it was really funny because my whole family was saying, "Who would you root for?" And I was like, I don't know. And then I think the first holding call of the game, I dropped an F-bomb, and I'm like, well, we know who I'm rooting for.
Oh, man. Justin, you are one trip, man. You definitely are. Well, who do you have the Giants drafting at number 4?
I think they're going to trade down.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, at this point, again, it's like, who cares? They haven't worked anybody out. You can't see anything. It's going to be like a fantasy football draft.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be watching. I will promise you that. The only thing I'll be watching on TV over the next month will be the docuseries on the Bulls, The Last Dance.
Mm-hmm.
A buddy of mine produced it. I saw a sneak preview of it last year at the All-Star game when it was in Charlotte, and it is awesome. So that's the only thing that I'm really tuning into for live TV right now. It's I think I'll follow Twitter during the draft, and I'll find out who gets drafted by whom. But I think it's the top 2 picks that everyone cares about, that everyone knows who will be taking those top 2. I said when I called his game, I thought Justin Herbert was phenomenal. I think he is going to be a great NFL quarterback. Flying under the radar.
Me and you agree with a lot of things. And I have said on our show over and over again that Justin Herbert will be the best quarterback in this draft class.
Yeah, I was impressed by Joe Burrow last year. I didn't see him in person. I'm not a Tua fan, and I have never been a Tua guy. I could be completely wrong on this, and I hope I am for his sake. I worry about his health, not just his hip, but he's had knee injuries, ankle injuries. How durable is he? And I feel when I watch him throw a ball, it's a very soft pass. It doesn't have a whole lot of zip on it. So I'm wondering how that will play in the NFL. Honestly, if I'm a team, it scares me to risk an early round pick on him. It really does.
Justin, moving on now to MLB, because you do a lot of baseball broadcasting as well. So Errol and I were arguing about the new spring training proposals.
Terrible.
That MLB is going to have neutral site spring training ballparks in Arizona in addition to Chase Field, and also potentially to realign the divisions. My argument was that this is the best way to get more games in if you're Major League Baseball, rather than having to wait for the other stadiums to come in and having to travel a lot more often if they just played in their regular ballparks. What do you think about those ideas, and what do you think about potential in the realigned divisions too?
So one thing I've kind of stuck to is until there's a real plan, as far as until we know teams are the games are coming back, I haven't paid much attention to the speculation, because it's all speculation. So it's like, am I going to get worked up over a hypothetical? And that's kind of what I feel about this. One of my concerns, if I have any concerns right now, it's maintaining the integrity of the history of the game. And I've said it about the NBA. I think it would be a big mistake to come back and go right into the playoffs. To me, if you can't have, 6 to 8 more games in a regular season, allow players to get their legs back and go into the playoffs that way. If you don't allow for that, I'd rather not have a postseason, because to me, I'd rather everyone know when they look back at history that 2019 NBA season didn't finish because of a global pandemic. With baseball, I'm afraid of having a radical realignment for 1 year. I just don't think you're setting a good precedent. And I get it. We are in uncharted territory, but it's not something that I want to see. And as far as how do we navigate, or how can we navigate, I think the most logical thing to start with is playing in empty stadiums. These teams travel on charter planes from Delta, and if you're never going through an airport unless you go to Toronto, because that's the only time you have to go through customs. You never have to walk. You literally get off the plane, walk down the stairs, and get on a bus and go to your hotel. I think it's feasible to be able to do that. I think you can clean the airplanes. I think you know who's going to be on the airplanes. Maybe you limit the traveling party, who's on that plane, that kind of stuff. But I'd rather see the teams play in their home ballparks in empty parks than radically realign the entire league.
Again, another thing that we agree with. Everything that you have said so far, me and you can ask Speedy over here. We call him Speedy Petey. I have said every single thing that you have said. My takes on this show is everything that you have said. So I agree with you on every single statement you have said. We are talking to the voice of the Washington Wizards, Justin Kutcher. I have one last question for you. What is your take on Rob Manfred's no suspension of any players and not taking away the trophy from the Houston Astros? What is your take on that?
I don't think taking away a trophy is a big deal. Vacating wins, all that kind of stuff, to me, it's all BS. And the reason why I say that is anybody who was at Game 7 when the Astros won, they remember it. They have those memories. It's like the Fab Five, where all the wins, for Bobby Bowden and this and that, like you take stuff away. Those games happened. We know they happened. And so how do you punish a team going forward? As far as suspending players, they made it really difficult because they essentially, granted them immunity if they spoke the truth. The bigger issue is that we haven't seen them be apologetic. And I think they're going to pay the price by their peers. And that's going to be the biggest thing. And I don't think they're going to get hit on the first pitch of an at-bat or the first pitch of a game or, the first at-bat they have. And frankly, that's the best way to do it because it means they can never get comfortable in the batter's box. You never know when that pitch is coming. Although in the back of your mind, you or one of your teammates is getting drilled, maybe not just once, but multiple times in a game or in a series. And so I don't think that the commissioners should protect them from this happening. I think they brought it upon themselves, and I think they had to deal with it. And they can't retaliate either. That's the thing. After a certain point, you might retaliate. But the first time it happens, whether it's each time in a series, you can't do anything about it because you brought it upon yourself. But I don't think you strip a team of the title. If you want to say they can't hang the banner in the stadium, I'm okay with that. But to take it away and say it never happened, that's just hogwash.
If you guys want to listen to Justin Kutcher play-by-play for the Washington Wizards, all you have to do is go to NBC Sports in Washington and Fox Sports. He's a great analyst, play-by-play guy. Justin, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, and I'm glad we're in agreement. Just means you're a really smart guy.
We want to get you on if there's an NBA season, if it does come back. We would love to get you back on.
Just let me know, and I'll come back on.
Thank you, Justin.